Hey, good afternoon. Maria back with another video. It is 1:38 p.m. It is February 27th. It is Sunday afternoon, and I just finished my lunch, and I decided to devote my time to making a video today. It's been a long time since I made a video. As you may have noticed, the background looks a little different. I have moved. I am in my own apartment now. And so I've been kind of settling in. I still haven't put up all my pictures. Most of my pictures are in the living room. This is my bedroom. I need to put up some more pictures. As you can tell, the wall is kind of blank over here on the side. So, I just want to give you a quick update as to what I've been doing. I'm still dealing with the trauma a little bit. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night or in the mornings, and it starts to really hit me. Like I said, you have no control over these flashbacks or these sort of negative experiences that a person goes through when they deal with something that is very traumatizing for them. And it was extremely traumatizing because when I started realizing, how deep this was and the psychosis of the people who got involved in it, you're dealing with something very sick here, okay? And so and something that basically was life-threatening to me. And so when I think about, someone who would have that kind of disregard for me and was willing to abuse me in that sort of manner, this is how it affected me. And, try as I might, I do keep myself very busy during the day. But like I said, we still go through brain regurgitation. So this is my way of healing myself from that sort of trauma. This video that I'm making today, I'm calling it Stand on Your Own, because as I've been dealing with these flashbacks, I'm starting to think back a little bit more, unfortunately, and it's something that's just going to happen. It's a part of the process, because you ask yourself, because I know I will, swear on a stack of Bibles or any other holy book you give me. I will swear on someone who is extremely precious and well thought of's grave. I will tell you, I had nothing to do with the madness and I did nothing to ignite it, to ask for it, or even deserve it, okay? But you deal with some people that you may have known in your past who, for whatever reason, feel justified in harming you or abusing you in this sort of manner. And so the reason I'm calling this video Stand on Your Own is because I don't know about you, okay, but I have never felt comfortable with people giving me things out of the blue, okay? And looking back, in hindsight, when I think about these sort of situations where people have given me things out of the blue, they usually had some sort of tie or lure attached to it. Like, in their mind, they might be thinking, okay, well, I helped her with her car, so therefore I can expect her to do this, and this, okay? So you think they're doing things for you out of the goodness of your heart. And so when people offer me gifts, I usually offer them some sort of monetary compensation. Like if somebody helps me with my, like, let's just say, for example, I have a flat tire on the road, and then somebody drives by and they want to help me, and I'll say, okay, well, here's some money. I always offer them money, okay, or something. If I don't have money right away, then I'll say, okay, I'll pay you back or whatever. And the reason why I say this is because I don't ever give somebody in the back of their mind some sort of excuse, in their mind, justification, to think that they have the right to ask or take certain things from you. Now, what happened to me is that I had this person, my son's biological father, who has not any legal ties to us whatsoever, but still, there's still a tie there biologically. And so he was going around arranging these jobs for me throughout the years, okay, and in the back of his mind felt as though I owed him something. Now, mind you, I have never asked this man to do anything for me or anything like this, but this is what the sort of mentality of these people have. And I want to cover a couple other things too about this issue, because I feel like I needed to talk about it just because it makes me feel a little bit better, and it's a part of my healing process. I want to first of all say that I think a lot of people in this community thought that I was associated with Jehovah's Witnesses, because I know that my son's biological father, who has no connection to me and has not had any connection with me in the last close to 30 years, okay, family comes from Jehovah's Witnesses. His mother is a baptized Jehovah's Witness. I believe his sister is a baptized Jehovah's Witness. And my son's father, my ex-boyfriend, and that's all he was an ex-boyfriend, okay, was not a Jehovah's Witness. He was what they call an associate of a Jehovah's Witness. He was not formally baptized. Now, Jehovah's Witnesses look at this as a very serious issue. Do not confuse the two, because a Jehovah's Witness who gets baptized makes a dedication to their religion, of course, to their God, Jehovah, and they are supposed to adhere to certain requirements, meaning you don't act a fool, you don't get to use your religion as an excuse to create a hate crime and then make everyone else look bad. Now, I don't have any association with Jehovah's Witnesses, and I have not for a very, very long time. I was never Jehovah's Witness myself. I studied with Jehovah's Witnesses for very many years. My family started off studying with Jehovah's Witnesses when I was a little thing, very small kid. My grandmother on my father's side, was a baptized Jehovah's Witness. And so my father, when he was building our house, well, he didn't build the house, but he built on a certain room to the house, hired a Jehovah's Witness to help him build this particular room in the house. And so during that time, since his mother was a Jehovah's Witness, he decided to take on a Bible study. And as I've told you, many years later, when I was in junior high school, I became friends with a girl. Her name was Amanda, and we became buddies. And she reintroduced me to this whole idea of Jehovah's Witnesses, which I already had a bunch of their books because they were in my garage from when my dad had them. So I started studying with them, and I studied with them for very many years. Had Bible studies, went to Bible studies, attended the Kingdom Hall. I went to several, what do they call it? I think they're called assemblies or whatever. They used to be held in Dodger Stadium or whatever. I would attend these because I've always, since I was a kid, see, the reason why I've always had an interest in spirituality, or I've always had a fear of God or this higher power, is because it was in me since I was a kid. So you don't see many teenage kids gravitate towards religion. Most kids they want to do stuff like, just anything that most teenagers do that are kind of like a no-no type thing with adults, okay? But I was one of those kids who seriously sought some sort of spiritual life since I was a kid. So when she started talking to me about this and studying this, I was interested, okay? Like I said, I was a very different kid, okay? My spiritual life has always been my number one concern. And so I studied with them for very many years. And throughout that time, I have, of course, met my ex-boyfriend, only a boyfriend, and who is my son's biological father. We did become engaged for a while, but I decided that it would not be healthy for my son to be around Bruce's family, mainly because Bruce's family was very racist, as you can obviously tell. Okay, so anyway, where am I going with this? Oh yeah, just telling the story, kind of getting it off my chest. So anyway, when I started studying with Jehovah's Witnesses, I think I understood the religion very well. I studied from when I was like 13 all the way up till I was like 25 or something. And I always had my doubts as to whether or not, Jehovah's Witnesses were like, the true religion or whatever. And I also did my research when I was in high school, when they had the library and you had to go and look up things in the Dewey Decimal System to try to find books to reference information. But I had studied about, Charles Chase Russell, the Watchtower and Tract Society, and I learned about them. So by the time I was 25 years old, I had decided to stop going to all Kingdom Hall meetings and all this other stuff. And I didn't want to break or disappoint my friend, who was still very much strongly involved as being a Jehovah's Witness. She was raised as a Jehovah's Witness. And so I allowed us to become distanced, because I know that I'm not going to ask her to give up her religious faith for me. Because I know Jehovah's Witnesses they do not associate with people who are not Jehovah's Witnesses. They are very strong about this. Now, you can be like high and by friends, but as far as the kind of friendships that me and Amanda used to have, that's not something that they advise. Okay, they would prefer you not associate with people who are not Jehovah's Witnesses. So, and I in my heart, I loved this person. I still love her to death. But she's passed away now. But I allowed that to occur because I knew that we couldn't see eye to eye on these issues, and I wished her well in the back, in the bottom of my heart, but I had to move on. Okay, and so and that's just how it is. And sometimes life is like that. So many years ago, she passed away. I think she passed away in 2011 or something. She had asthma. She had died of a heart attack. She couldn't breathe or something, and it really saddened me for a very long time. Even though I don't show it, there's a lot of things that I go through that I don't show. Okay, I have things to do. I got a job to go to. I got life to handle, and I have to keep on. I got to go on. So anyway, Bruce, my son's father, was never a Jehovah's Witness. Okay, Amanda, on the other hand, was a Jehovah's Witness, and I do think that I believe they used this, whoever did it, and I'm going to assume that it was Bruce who did it, or even possibly my family. Now, my family studied with Jehovah's Witnesses when we were little, but they never really took in or fully understood how Jehovah's Witnesses work. Now, I know because I spent time at the Kingdom Hall. I spent time going to their assemblies. I read just about every publication that they put out, starting from the 1950s all the way to the 1990s, okay? I'm very well versed in their doctrinal beliefs, okay? So I know, as somebody who's been around them for a long period of time, that Jehovah's Witnesses do not merge. They do not associate with other religions. I know that the people who were bullying me, who were part of this cabal, were basically using this as a religious excuse. And I know that the reason why I'm talking about this is because I know that I do not blame Jehovah's Witnesses as a whole. Now, even though I choose not to be a part of the Jehovah's Witness religion, I do not ever want anybody saying that this is what Jehovah's Witnesses do, or point the finger at Jehovah's Witnesses and saying, oh, well, these Jehovah's Witnesses, they lost their mind, they went around and they tormented and terrorized and literally committed a federal crime onto this one person, trying to force somebody to be married. Now, I don't believe that this would be endorsed or encouraged by the head members within a Jehovah's Witness congregation. I believe that this is something that would be taken very seriously if Bruce was a baptized Jehovah's Witness. He would have to be held accountable for his actions, because he's making the entire organization look bad. Okay, now my personal feelings about Jehovah's Witnesses, that's not my thing. Okay, like I said, I moved on. Do I hate Jehovah's Witnesses? No. I know that the majority of people within the Christian faith, the various Christian faiths, I'm referring to like regular born again Christians, Lutherans, Methodist, Baptist, Presbyterians, so on and so on down the line, they look at Jehovah's Witnesses kind of with a side eyeball. And the main reason why is because Jehovah's Witnesses are distinctly different. And they make it very known that they're different. And there's several, they are very distinct from the other mainstream Christian groups. And like I said, they would never collaborate or work to convert me to their religion through other people. Okay? And especially in that manner. Okay? So I don't want people, there might be some people who want to study with Jehovah's Witnesses, or people who belong to that faith, and now they're questioning it for that reason. I have my reasons for not being a Jehovah's Witness, but I don't ever want anybody looking at this situation and pointing the finger. See, I'm the kind of person, I try to be fair about everything. I don't want people pointing the finger at Jehovah's Witnesses and saying, this is what they did. Now, sometimes we have people within certain groups that take it upon themselves to do bad things and use religion as an excuse. And this is exactly what happened. And they use this religion as an excuse. And I know that I had a child with Bruce, and he and I were not married. Okay, but that doesn't mean, and see, and this is the crazy part, how so many so-called educated people who were involved in this issue whether they were human resource and individuals or whatever, how is it that you don't know what the definition of marriage is? How is it that you don't know that this man has no connection to me whatsoever? We were never married. Now, I know that makes me look bad. I think that's one of the reasons why so many people were attacking me. Let me tell you something. When I was growing up, I wanted to have a very pure life. Very pure. Like, I was upset when Bruce and I were together because I was no longer a virgin. And it burned me up. And then I really resented the fact that he took it so lightly. Like, well, I thought we were getting married. I thought we were going to make this righteous. Whatever. Hey, I'm not trying to tell you my whole goddamn business. But I'm just trying to let you understand that I was kind of a goody two-shoes growing up. I wanted to do everything by the book because I was seeking, and all my life I was seeking spiritual purity. Seriously, that's how deep I am. I'm extremely, extremely spiritual. So when when his attitude was like, well, whatever, it's like, I was in shock. I was like, oh my gosh, I thought, girls believe shit all the time. They believe that, they're the only ones and they're cared about and blah, blah, blah. And that was just silly innocence on my part. Okay. But whatever the case is, I was basically treated like I was a slut. I was a terrible person. I did this, and this. I had a child out of wedlock, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And then this man gets to inflict his hate crime out on me. And I've done nothing to deserve that. You know what I mean? And I took full responsibility when I had a child. I said, I'm going to go ahead and take care of my child. I never asked his family, hey, could you get me a job? I never asked him for a bag of diapers. I was fully ready and willing to take care of my son by myself. And the reason why, like I said, never let anybody give you anything, because in the back of his mind, he felt like, well, I gave her a job. I could take it all back. No, you can't take it all back. And the court system says that you can't. And so I'm going to tell you this. This is my personal opinion, okay? I believe every child should be in a family that is warm and welcoming, and they should be surrounded by as much love as they possibly can, okay? So, I mean, I don't think that people should just deliberately go out and have children out of wedlock, but when you do, and if you do, then you need to be responsible for that. And if that does happen to maybe your daughter or somebody you care about, make sure you handle it through the court system. Because, see, I was young and I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to raise my son and I'm going to take care of everything. I don't need anything from, see, I thought Bruce should have paid child support. I thought his wages should be garnished just like everybody else and he should at least contribute. But he flat out told me he was never going to pay any child support. So, I dropped it. I said, okay, you know what, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and take care of my kid. And we only had that conversation one time. And I was willing to do it. And that's exactly what I did. Okay, so I remember coming down to this Bakersfield place because the cost of living is cheap. I knew I was going to be a single parent. So I had to make sure I had a place to live, a place for my son to have a roof over his head, so we can have groceries and we can try to enjoy the little, entertainment here and there, whatever you can do, the most you can do as a single parent. Because this Bakersfield used to be a place that you could get by. I mean, the rents are ridiculous now, but I was prepared to raise my kid by myself. I never asked you for shit. Okay? So, my thing is, if you ever get in this situation, you know somebody who's going to get in this situation, you make sure that you garnish their wages. Okay? And I'm not saying that because I was, like I said, I was prepared to take care of my kid. But you don't want some weird person going around giving you jobs and then thinking that they can abuse you because in the back of their mind, oh, I gave her something. So now she owes me this and she owes me that. I don't owe you shit. Okay? I don't owe you shit. And the more I think about it, I'm starting to get pissed off, Maria. So I'm telling myself, just calm down, Maria. But the more I think about it, I get angry because, with all the abuse that I put up with over these years, and that's like a very long period of time, I think of, what have you done for my son? What have you done for my son? Did all that suffering lead to maybe him inheriting millions after all of this is said and done? Then maybe that would be worth it. But you didn't give my son shit. Okay? He was just enacting evil out on somebody. And you cannot tell me. There's nothing that anybody in this world could tell me or convince me that this person is not straight out evil. Here I am raising his son. Now, I didn't recognize him as the son or the father on a piece of paper. But still, at the end of the day, that's his biological son that I'm trying to keep a roof over his head. And he's coming around here destroying my fucking life for the fucking fun of it. Okay, that man deserves to be placed in front of a firing squad, as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, whoo, Berea, shame on you. No, actually, you know what? Take that back. I'm glad I said it because it makes me feel a lot better. Okay, but of course, I would never enact violence, but I can always dream, can't I? Okay, so anyway, what else was I going to say here? So yeah, Jehovah's Witnesses are different. They are different. You know how some religions, like you might go to a Methodist church here in this community, and they might think that interfaith marriages are okay. Like for example, your daughter might be engaged to be married to a Lutheran, and here it's okay. But you might go to a congregation in Texas, and they're like, oh fuck no, you can't marry a Lutheran. That's interfaith. We don't do that. Okay, Jehovah's Witnesses are in unison all the way down the line. That means whatever they say here in this Kingdom Hall, in this community, is going to be the same in Italy. It's going to be the same in Texas. It's going to be the same in Cleveland, Ohio. It's going to be the same in Mexico and everywhere else. Okay, this is one of the things that makes Jehovah's Witnesses extremely different than the rest of Christian religions. Is that they literally act as one group of people. So people used to make fun of me because I've always been into religion and all of these things. But had I not done that, I would be just as gullible as all these other people in this community that fell for this. You know what I mean? And people can say whatever they want to about me being whatever. I'm proud to I'm not proud like boastful, but I know that I would never fall into the kind of mind control that the majority of people fell into. Because, I've been studying this sort of stuff, religion in general, since I was a teenage kid. So you can't make me feel bad about that. Also, I want to talk a little bit about narcissism. I was watching a couple YouTube videos. I think it was about 3 weeks ago. It was a little before I moved here. And this guy, he was talking about, because he's a narcissist himself, okay? And some of these narcissists, and it's very rare to get a narcissistic person to admit that they're not a narcissist, because the narcissists have like this ego wall that's like this thick. Okay, you can't tell them that they're wrong. But the only time a narcissist will actually show a little bit of humility, and I wouldn't even call it humility, it's more like they've come to the realization that they need to do something about their attitude. And usually it's at the point where they have basically burned so many bridges where it hurts. Okay, they don't care if they burn bridges and like it doesn't really matter to them. Because like let's just say for example they screwed over their neighbor, which they probably have many times, right? They screwed over their neighbor, but them screwing over their neighbor is not going to hurt anything. But in this case, they screwed over business partners, and people are starting to catch on to their fucked up ways, and they just don't want anything to do with them anymore, right? So now it's hurting the narcissist. Now you've hurt them, and now they're like, oh wait, I got to do something about this. I see that this is bad, and it will never be, their turnaround will never be because they realize what they did to you. It'll never be because they have compassion and they are truly remorseful about the pain that they caused you. They're doing it for their own benefit. Okay, like I said, they're trying to correct their behavior, or at least, develop some sort of persona or mask to where they can hide their evil so that they can interact with society and people don't call them out for what they really are. So this one guy was talking about how he is a narcissist. He has a very hard time feeling for other people. And this is exactly what it is. They don't care about other people. And, I think that if you are a narcissistic person, and like I said, I know you can't feel sorry for other people or feel bad about the things that you do, but I found what this man was talking about to be very interesting, because he was really getting into the depth of their mind and the way that they think, in a way that I know that you can read it in a psychology book, but coming from a person who's actually being, he and this guy is kind of evil. He even had a smirk on his face. He was talking about how very little he cared about people. It was just like, wow, that's deep, okay? But you'd be surprised how many of these people exist within our society, okay? And as far as I'm concerned, the people who supported my ex-boyfriend, who only was my boyfriend, never actually got married. Okay, he was my fiance for a while, but that don't mean shit, really, at the end of the day. that's very common in society. You know what I mean? And you have to be careful about getting caught up in their snares. So my advice to people would be to stand on your own as much as you possibly can. And I know that people have always said that I was a very strong person. I suppose that's true. To me, I just have to keep trucking. I don't have any other alternatives. So I don't really think about whether I'm strong or not. But I really encourage other people to try to take on this particular mindset. And I'm not the kind of person who tells people what to do. But I will say, if you don't do this, if you don't make a stand or take a stand and say, I need to do things on my own, then you are basically going to be somebody else's punching bag. And they're going to think in their mind, because it's not very difficult to fall into this weird way of thinking. Like this man, my ex-boyfriend, and he's only my boyfriend, thought that because he was doing certain things for me behind my back without my consent, that he had the right, that I even owed him something. Okay? You got to be careful about who you're dealing with society. People are very sick. There's a lot of mental illness that it goes on in this world. And you have to be aware of that. But anyway, I'm going to try to find or remember what that person's channel was so I could put it into the description box below. Because to me, people should be aware that these kind of people exist. You know, and I was very naive growing up. I mean, I knew there were some evil people. But when I experienced human trafficking for myself, and I had to look at the evil people who were fucked up enough to bring me into job interviews, to emotionally play with me, to watch me lose everything that I had, and then think it was funny, you start to realize that narcissism and evil are not rare at all. It's an everyday occurrence. The majority of people in this world have this very strange, or not, how can I say this, are incapable of distinguishing what is right and what is wrong. They don't know that it's wrong to do this. Like there's a lot of employers who don't know that it's wrong to force somebody to be married. And they will participate in it. Okay? And it doesn't matter how educated they are, because they fall into this all the time. You know what I mean? So we live in a world where people don't know how to act. You know? And I guess I'm done making this video, because I have a few things that I want to do to keep myself sane and keep myself in better mental health. I've been very busy at work, which is good. And that's a good thing. I like to stay busy. The more busy I am, the better off I am. Okay. Like I said, that doesn't stop me from having nightmares. It doesn't stop me from having flashbacks. It doesn't stop me from that. But this time that I've been here in my apartment on my own has given me a lot of time to just really reflect and think about, you know, I mean, I don't want to dwell on the injustice, okay? I don't want to do that. But it has given me, like, you know, a lot of clarity, you know, and it's made me think a lot more about what I can do and how I can warn people on my channel. Try to encourage people to be a little bit more self-sufficient, you know what I mean? Don't expect people to give you anything in this world. That's my personal opinion. Don't expect people to give you anything in this world. Because what they do is they try to obligate you to doing things for them. And like I said, you know, the more I think about this, and this is why I really don't like to think about it, like somebody, like I said, to me this person is pure fucking evil. Excuse me for dropping the F-bomb. By the way, I'm going to try to eliminate the F-bomb from my vocabulary. Not that the F-bomb doesn't mean anything to me, okay? It really doesn't. I mean, because to me it's just a word. But I get so angry sometimes, and like, you know, I can't wring their necks. So like, the only thing I can really say is the F-bomb. You know what I mean? But still, I also understand that it's not exactly pleasant for everybody. I know I have viewers that I've never had any of my viewers say anything negative about it. But, you know, I'm just saying, I need to keep certain things up here. It doesn't need to always come out of here. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up my video. I hope you all have a wonderful Sunday, and I will be back with another video sometime later. Take care. Bye-bye.